So if someone was to look back on their last relationship, what they may find is that in the beginning, when they first started spending time with the other person, they didn't fully show up. And then as time went by and they ended up being in a relationship, they had more or less completely lost themselves. And so during this time, they would have gone along with what the other person wanted or what they think they wanted. And this would have caused them to typically neglect their own needs and to hide their own feelings. And so if in the beginning they were enjoying what was going on because they had met someone, as time went by, this enjoyment would have greatly subsided. And they may have been looking for a way out. They may have been looking for someone else to pull them out because they won't have been happy in the relationship. And of course, in order for them to have experienced a fulfilling relationship, they would have needed to stay connected to themselves. So they would have needed to express their needs and wants and to be open about what was going on for them at an emotional level. And now this is over, part of them could be relieved, and they could also wonder why they didn't fully show up, why they ended up playing a role and losing themselves, because perhaps for a while they may have blamed the other person, but as time has passed, they will be able to see that they are the ones who didn't show up. It wasn't that the other person was forcing them to be someone else. It was that they, right from the beginning, were not in touch with who they were, and they played a role. And they may see that this is not the first time that this has taken place. This may have been just one of many occasions when they have been with someone and they didn't show or reveal their true self. And one reason why someone would end up behaving in this way once they get close to someone, and they may even see that this often happens with friends and colleagues, and so it's not purely something that relates to when they are in an intimate relationship. And if they were to look back on their life and to go back to their early years, what they may see is that when they were younger, they were treated like an object. And so it was then as though they were just an extension of their parent or parents, and they had to lose touch with their needs and feelings and to focus on what this caregiver or caregivers wanted. Because if they didn't, they would have ended up being rejected and abandoned. And of course, as they were unable to express who they were rejected and they were emotionally abandoned. But through going along with what this parent wanted, it would have stopped them perhaps from being isolated. So they would have then received attention for playing a role, but who they were would have gone into hiding, gone into isolation, and they wouldn't have been loved for who they were. And so through having these experiences year on year for many, many years, they would have learned that in order for them to keep other people around, in order for them to not be isolated and abandoned, they had to lose themselves. Because if they stayed connected to who they were and revealed their needs and expressed what was going on for them at an emotional level, they would have been cast aside. And at this stage, it would have felt as though they were going to die. So when they were isolated, they would have automatically disconnected from the pain that they were in and repressed this. And so even though they would have done their best to please their parent or parents, they still would have been mistreated. And so, although this is in the past and they are no longer a child, they will still believe deep down that if they reveal who they are in a relationship and maintain their individuality and don't merge with the other person, that their life will come to an end. And so if you can relate to this, you can see that you have the tendency to lose yourself in another, and it is not possible for you to stay connected to who you are and then to have a relationship where there is two individuals and then a third entity known as a relationship, then you may have a number of emotional wounds to resolve, beliefs to question, and trauma to deal with as well. Because all the time that you continue to lose yourself, whether it's with an intimate partner or a friend, it is not going to be very fulfilling, because who you are will not be showing up. And you won't be able to truly receive, because all the time you're playing a role, this role will not be able to receive anything. So if you can relate to this, please reach out for the assistance that you need to gradually change your life, because you deserve to reveal who you are. So don't suffer in silence. If you would like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.